The Apache Software Foundation is a huge global distributed organisation. It's an open source foundation, it's a not-for-profit. Now, you might ask, well, how do code reviews happen? Actually, at Apache, what happens is every commit should be reviewed. And this is actually really good practice. As well as reviewing your code, you need to look at what everybody else has done. So even if you're in a pair and you've got constant code review, you need to be looking during the integration phase at the code which has come down, which other people have committed in the meantime. So it's almost identical to the process we use over at Apache. So at Apache, whenever you get new code down, whether it's a subversion update or a git pull, what you need to do is review the changes and you need to read the commit messages. So what happens at Apache? If there's a problem, if it's a bit of code you don't like, well, if it's minor, you simply correct it. Easy to do, easiest thing to do, because when you integrate, you actually need clean code which passes. Now, if it's a major problem at Apache, you veto, and that's a really big stick. What does that mean? You do -1 on the commit message. What's a commit message? Well, every time a commit happens at Apache, an email message is sent to the list. So there's a second stage of code review. It's not just when you haul down the code from the repository to make some changes. It's also posted to a mailing list and people get into the habit of reading commit messages. Every committer at Apache should read every commit message, even if it's just a glance through, to check the code. So at Apache there is constant code review, just like pair programming. It just happens just after the event because we're distributed. And we can't be quite synchronous, but we're just asynchronous. So at Apache, after a commit message is sent to a mailing list. And committers on that list, and anybody else, it's a public list, anybody can review the code and can comment on it. If it's just a small problem, then the easiest thing to do is simply update and fix it. Commit it back with a message. If it's a question or a query, you reply to the mailing list post about the commit. And if it's a major problem, you actually -1, you veto that change, which will trigger a vote. Because at Apache we're democratic. Committers vote about what code they want in. However, a veto psychologically is a really, really big issue. They're very, very rare at Apache because it's a huge nuclear option and most people won't want to do it. So, how it works in distributed teams at Apache is that everybody, every committer, everybody interested reads commit messages. So, I would suggest this is something which commercial organisations can also benefit from. You should have commit messages sent to a mailing list so everybody can review it. Now, commercially you might not actually review with the intensity you do at Apache. I know organisations which do, and everybody might not in an organisation, but some people should. So, learn from open source. Have a mailing list where the changes, the commit messages are sent.